Strategic and Islamic Studies, Muslim cultural replacement. All of these things sound like cultural replacement. That's why we're saying this fundraising, brothers and sisters, those of you who are still, let me clarify our position. We are in 100% support of al-Faqih. The reason Afghanistan is in turmoil, not because Afghans can't fight, because they don't have al-Faqih. The reason Iraq was invaded and abused, because they don't have al-Faqih. The reason Iran is the #1 country in the region with everybody trying to destroy it is because the system of al-Faqih. Like that flyer, I didn't bring it with me, but from the newspaper in Iran, it said, well, I said at a lecture, and they must have liked it because they put it on the front page. I made it a Department of Strategic Studies, the Western Studies, at Tehran University. That's like going out of the Georgetown Strategic Studies or something. The people that studied the West, they were so impressed, they translated it into Farsi and put it on the front page of their newspaper. Now I want to ask you, what does the white man think about that? The Negroes don't think nothing about it. But what does the white man think? What does the Israelis think? That if a Negro comes from America, goes to Iran and makes the best talk on Iran, Islam, global possibilities, and they like it so much, they put it on the front page of their political newspaper. There's only one other picture on the front page, and it's Larijani. He's one of the brothers he's had at one of the parliament things or something. There's 3 or 4 of them. What does the cracker say? What does he say if he happen to have, if I come back from Iran and I happen to have, this is not the last time I came back, you know, Ahmadinejad, when you're not the president anymore, you don't go and retire, he has a whole compound, he has a whole staff. Usually they put you on the expediency council because they can't afford to waste all the experience of a president. So they have institutions that when you finish being the chief of this, well, you go and you're on an advisory council. So I went to his compound. I thought he must still be the president. He has a whole compound, you know, right in the political section, and he has it. You got to go through all the regular routine, all the searches, you have an appointment. They have to make, and then you get to see him. And only one political leader in my life I was ever talked to, and we're having a good conversation, and the translator's there, and I'm trying to explain something. And he said, that's all right, our hearts are in contact. In other words, and I ain't never talked to no political leader that ever said that. And he meant it, by the way, he followed on through. You know what he's talking about by the follow-up, right? Oh, he knew what I was trying to say. And he said, our hearts are in contact. And the white man takes my phone when I come back, and he goes through all the pictures, and and they see who you with and everything. How do they feel about that? It don't make no difference how they feel about it. One thing it means is that we're in this ball game as big as anybody. There ain't nobody, we're in this ball game. But we're not in this ball game just to be there. we have certain things that have happened. Y'all remember Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui when he was talking about Imam Musa that time? Hey man, you would think he was talking, the stuff he said, I had forgotten about it, because he said, when he finishes, Imam Musa is the combination of all things that are good, or something like that. I said, dog, Dr. Siddiqui, I was there, but at the program, I was right to just finish. But I wasn't paying no attention to that till I happened to look at it. I said, no, but I remember what happened after this. A week later, when we're going home, he gets in the car and go to the Johannesburg airport. And there's people that witness it. Basically, he's passing on. Now remember, Majlis Ashura Islamiyya fi Britannica, non-territorial government. So when we talk about acquiring the power, nonviolent resistance, right? Nonviolent resistance, core of everything we talk about, but not sitting nonviolent resistance. All the problems that exist, we are going forward to solve them, inshallah. Number one, drug addiction. We were saying when we get our $50 million from the government for doing us wrong, whichever we get 5 or 10 or 20, it doesn't make a difference. We're going to do that. But we're going to do that besides, to hell with them. This is what we're saying is, we started from scratch right now, different than the old time Negroes. They lose their bounceability. See, when I wrote stuff in our stuff like be prepared to sleep under a bridge, that's what I meant, because in my research, everybody would get so big and so important, and they would lose the ability to go back to square one. That's why we start square one ourselves. We're taking the videos, run them off, and before, on the way to California, we're starting our fundraising so that we, during our program, whether you hold us up in court, whether you give us $500 million, because this is only the start. We've been talking about South Africa, we've been talking everywhere that I'm not banned for. We headed on fundraising super duper deal. Yeah. We don't care what if those people are so stupid that they're going to use an ignoramus. Now, study if we would have followed it. Ignoramuses. Real live, you can tell by what they say. Ignoramuses, like Khadijah and Mukhtar, to challenge us, and we focus on them. Think about it. That would be dragging us back into small-time materialism. We're headed where we're headed, whether we have this center, that center, the property, we doing it. This is the difference. This is what they wasn't expecting. They expected us because this nigga is always focused on wealth perseverance, and wealth saving, and he plans years ahead. If I did it in the 60s, and they come down on me and they cut off your access to all money, right? And you got a package, you got to go to the penitentiary where your friend, man, where did you bury that package years ago? Oh, this is Granny's backyard. And I'm back there digging, big suit on her. Who is that out there? This is Granny. Oh, it's just me. I'm just, well, what you doing? Oh, I'm just scratching around in the flowers. And she went on back to sleep. But that package white man is taking you out. He's cutting off all access. He had 2 attempted assassinations. He is serious. And you know he's serious, right? People are scared to deal with you because if you hot, that's just the rule. That's why we buried it. We consolidated all of that stuff we had. We started consolidating. So we have cash money. There's 2 final consolidations. One is that took that dope, and that dope was enough to start a whole new empire. This is buried in the ground. In fact, some of the people say, man, whatever it was supposed to be white, and some of it had dirt in it. Well, they shoveled it, went into it, and I said, man, dirt don't hurt. No, dirt is natural. I'm not going to try to clean the dirt out of the white powder. It's going to look, just take that dirt and put it right on there. That dirt ain't going to hurt you. Right? Dirt don't hurt nothing. That's right. It's just that regular dirt. That's what it is. You know, I said I'd take out a little bit for weight. If a few little specks, I'd take a little drop or 2 out of it. But anyway, it was planning ahead. White folks don't think niggas do that. What's the plan of the white man? Drag the nigger down the street and back of their chariot like they did in the old days. This is your hero. They did it to everybody else. They did it to Eldridge and them, they did it to everybody. They just laughed when Huey got shot in the street using drugs, when he got a dope habit. Eldridge Cleveland and Marvin X got to messing around with crack so much that they were seen carrying a big desk down the street in West Oakland. Eldridge Cleveland, man. And when I saw Eldridge, I come back, and it was a big program at the Oakland Auditorium. Him and Kathleen was there. And he said, well, you know, we got to do what we got to do, something like that. Then, the next time I was buying property, and I was at the City Hall, and he was there with a big fedora on, and white folks, 10-gallon hats. And he was with 2 white men on the side of him, and they was kind of grinning and smirking. Yeah, trying to take care of this stuff. So these crackers, he's with Reverend Moon or somebody. Then he had a dream that he saw Chairman Mao, Malcolm X, and I think Jesus Christ, you know, the long-haired Jesus, you know, that Jesus. That stuff, look, that's what they did to them. They never did it to us. I'm not bragging. They ain't never did none of that. Whatever the ethics of the movement was, whatever the ethics of the racial struggle, whatever the ethics was, we stuck to them. And I want all of you right now, I'm speaking mainly to the Shia community. And y'all know why I'm speaking to you, because we the ones that carried this ball in America for the last 40 years. Ain't nobody else, 39 years, something like that. Okay. When y'all was demonstrating in the street carrying Imam's picture for over 10 or 15 years, and I would tell you, y'all don't know what y'all getting away with, because they know you didn't know how much hatred and how much focus the U.S. had on you. Of course, I said later on that everybody was tattletales but me, and forget about that. Of course, go study, find a Negro. 1980, 81, 82, 83, 85, that was with y'all. Find one, just one. I don't care whether it's here in D.C., there's plenty of them. Find one now. That's been stuck to it all the time. No fitna, no foolishness, right? No bad press. Ain't stole nothing. Ain't hurt nobody. Right? And also, What do you think if I'm here in America, if I'm number one on the Zionist list? Abe Foxman, right? Steve Emerson, Daniel Pipes. What does that mean? But let's go even farther than that. Suppose since 1982, we've been the main focus of all of our beloved friends, Saudi Arabia. How much money do you think they've offered me? Up till recently. Or how many times you think they'd have scared me? If they'd have launched a war against Yemen, right, and bombing and killing people just because a few of the people in Yemen don't like them, what do you think if I'm in America? Let's just think, just figure it out. Let's look at this. Suppose you've been number one list for the FBI and all of them, and every time they get on your case, you run to Algeria, to Africa, South America, and everybody else that even thought something like that would wind up dead. But you come out smelling like a rose. I mean, you do 4 or 5 years, something like that. Technically, for what we do, 4 or 5 years in the penitentiary is nothing. They give niggas life sentences for reckless eyeballs. Yes, they do. You think I'm lying. Now, suppose you done ducked out of every little scheme they done had, and then make fun of them. Y'all done seen the Road Runner and Elmer Fudd and them, right? And if Elmer Fudd shoot the shotgun at whoever, was it the rabbit?
Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny. He stick his finger in there and the rifle blow up on him. Or the Road Runner, they trying to catch him, and then the bad guy get blew up every time, right?
Coyote.
The coyote. Look at me here. I'm 73 years old. I know. But think about attitude. The stuff that the white man that I done been through with our friend, the Euro, that's just the regular white man. He uses all of his stuff and all of his aides and friends. And still here. That's the white man. First of all, ain't nobody did that, not in recent century. I don't know about him. I'm looking for him. I want to read so I can find out get some information, right? What about the Zionists? Anybody even mention the Zionists? Well, the Israelis, I don't know about the Holocaust. Holocaust denier, I don't know about Kristallnacht. You don't believe in Kristallnacht? Okay. And not they. You're finished. Remember the National Negro said some 30 years ago about gutter religion? Remember that? A couple of months later, the Negro had his violin playing Mendelssohn. Remember that? That's pitiful.
With the little Jewish girl.
Huh?
With the little Jewish girl.
That is pitiful. Talking about, I've never felt so much pressure in my life. It's because you ain't used to fighting, that's all. What you think they say about me? Now imagine now, I'm not bragging, I'm telling you, we all know this, it just don't seem like nothing. With the American FBI, CIA, all of their crew, NSA, everywhere, all the time, and I'm sitting back here laughing. And I ain't running and hiding nowhere. What do you think they think about all of that? And the Israelis, you know that clown that's in the White House now? Fox News guy, what's his name? Sean Hannity? He's a big advisor now, right? At the White House, yeah, you see on the news, they have Sean Hannity there. Because Fox News is how he makes his decisions based on it. I told him, man, you're a dummy. I did tell him that. But if you saw the advertisement, he said the next man is the most dangerous man in America. I don't know if y'all saw that part, because that's not on the lecture part, that's on the advertisement. You know, for what's coming up next on Fox News. And I know Diamond Jim told me, he said, man, I called everybody, said, the most dangerous man in the world. They had a picture of me. He said, and he did, he called everybody, he said, man, Big Hank getting ready to come home. And so everybody and all the, people was watching just to see what happened. And it was okay, but he did like he do all them other Negroes. They're trying to look civilized. Oh man, you're a dummy. If you follow a dummy, if George Bush is a dummy and you follow him, you're bigger than a dummy than he is. You ought to be on the terrorist list. You ought to be on the dummy list. It's just simple stuff, but it means a lot. Now that fool is up there with Don. Non-territorial government. Okay, remember what I'm asking, dear friends. I'm not asking to help the Masjid, to help my trip become successful. I'm saying we want you to be the beginning of the support network. Ultimate goal in the next 10 or 15 years with this non-territorial government to solve or to work on homelessness. That's 3-star homeless, whatever you want to call it. 3-star, 3.5. The Masjid, this is our example. That includes this Masjid here, the Masjid in Oakland, whatever we come across, will be centers for solving drug problems. So we're not talking about a few 100,000 or a few million. That's why I say we want to have a treasury in the billions. This is just a start. The reason